The stars stretched like bright lines against the dark space outside the ship's big windows. Captain Do-hyun Park watched them from the bridge of Earth's biggest and most advanced spaceship, the ESS Prometheus. He had been its captain for 5 years, but the sight of space travel still filled him with wonder. The bridge was quiet except for the soft beeping of computers and the low voices of crew members at their stations. The room was large and round, with screens and control panels covering most of the walls. In the middle stood the captain's chair, raised slightly so Do-hyun could see everything happening around him. Do-hyun was tall for a Korean man, with broad shoulders and black hair that was starting to show gray at the temples. He wore the dark blue uniform of the Earth Space Service with pride. 3 golden stripes on his sleeve showed his rank as captain. His brown eyes were sharp and missed very little, which was why he noticed right away when his first officer's face showed worry. Lieutenant Hae-Nul Kim walked quickly to his chair. She was shorter than Do-hyun, with her black hair tied back in a neat bun. Her uniform was also perfectly clean and pressed, just like always. But something was definitely wrong. Do-hyun could see it in the way she held her tablet computer too tightly. "Captain," she said quietly, "we have a problem in engineering. Chief Engineer Kang wants to talk to you right away." Do-hyun pressed a button on his chair's arm. A screen appeared in the air in front of him, showing the face of Chief Engineer Yoon-ji Kang. Her usually neat hair was messy, and there was a smudge of grease on her cheek. "Report, Chief," Do-hyun said. "Captain, something's wrong with our quantum drive," Yoon-ji said. The quantum drive was what let the ship travel faster than light. Without it, they would never reach the Galactic Council meeting in time. "The power readings don't make any sense. It's like someone changed things inside the engine. But that's impossible. Nobody can get into those systems from outside the ship." Do-hyun felt his stomach tighten. The Prometheus wasn't just carrying him and his crew of 500 people. It was carrying important messages and documents from Earth's government to the Galactic Council. Earth wanted to join the Council as a full member, just like the other spacefaring races. But some alien species didn't want humans to join. They said humans were too young, too primitive. "How bad is it?" Do-hyun asked. "Bad enough that I'm scared to keep the drive running," Yoon-ji answered. "But if we shut it down, we'll be stuck here, light years from anywhere important." Do-hyun looked at Hae-Nul. "What do you think?" Hae-Nul touched her tablet a few times, bringing up more information. "We're carrying too much important cargo to risk stopping. But running a broken quantum drive could be dangerous." Before Do-hyun could answer, alarms started blaring throughout the ship. Red lights flashed on every screen. In engineering, Yoon-ji shouted something, but her words were lost as strange purple energy started shooting out of the quantum drive. "Emergency shutdown," Do-hyun ordered, but it was too late. The purple energy spread through the engine room like lightning. On the bridge's screens, Do-hyun and Hae-Nul watched in horror as it reached the power systems, then the computer cores, then started moving through the whole ship. "All hands, brace for impact," Hae-Nul shouted into the ship's speakers. The warning came just in time. The Prometheus shook so hard that anyone who wasn't holding onto something fell down. Do-hyun gripped his chair's arms as the ship seemed to twist in ways that should have torn it apart. In engineering, Yoon-ji and her assistant Tae-won Lee held onto a railing as the purple energy swirled around them. Tae-won was young, just out of the Space Service Academy, but he was smart. He pulled out his tablet even while holding on and started taking readings. "Chief," he shouted over the noise. "These energy patterns, they're not random. This is technology, but nothing like ours." Yoon-ji looked at her own screens. The young engineer was right. The purple energy wasn't just breaking things, it was changing them. She could see ship systems she knew perfectly suddenly shifting, becoming something new and strange. On the bridge, Do-hyun watched as his control screens flickered and changed. New symbols appeared, written in no language he had ever seen. The ship's normal blue lighting turned purple, then back to blue, then a mix of both. "Status report," he called out. "Is anyone hurt?" Around the bridge, officers checked their stations and each other. Surprisingly, no one seemed injured, just shaken up. "Captain," Haynul said, her voice filled with disbelief, "you need to see this." She sent an image to his screen. It showed the ship's outer cameras, and Do-hyun's eyes widened. The Prometheus' smooth silver hull was changing. Patterns like circuits spread across it, glowing with that same purple energy. But instead of damaging the ship, they seemed to be merging with it. "Engineering, report," Do-hyun called. "Chief Kang, are you there?" There was static for a moment. Then Yoonji's voice came through. She sounded excited despite the situation. "Captain, this is amazing. Someone tried to sabotage us, but I don't think it's working the way they planned." Security Chief Jeho Choi's voice joined the conversation. He was in charge of keeping the ship safe, and he sounded angry. "Captain, we've detected traces of foreign technology in our systems. This was definitely sabotage, but I've never seen anything like it. The energy signature matches stories I've heard about the Collective." Do-hyun had heard of the Collective. They were one of the oldest and most powerful races in the galaxy. They didn't like other species becoming too advanced, and they especially didn't like humans. The Collective thought they should be the only ones with advanced technology. "They tried to destroy our quantum drive," Yoonji explained, "but something unexpected happened. Their technology, it's not destroying our systems, it's combining with them." As if to prove her point, new displays appeared around Do-hyun's chair. They showed things that should have been impossible, ways to bend space itself, energy readings that went beyond normal physics, and power levels that made their old ones look tiny. "Captain," Haynul said softly, "I think they just made a very big mistake." Do-hyun nodded slowly. The Collective had tried to stop Earth from joining the Galactic Council by destroying their best ship. Instead, they had given humanity something much more valuable: their own advanced technology. But they weren't done dealing with the changes yet. As Do-hyun watched, more systems across the ship started transforming. The ship's artificial gravity shifted, making everyone feel lighter for a moment before returning to normal. The air recycling systems hummed with new energy, making the air feel somehow cleaner and fresher. In engineering, Yoonji and Taiwan worked frantically to understand what was happening to their ship. Every system they checked showed the same pattern: Earth technology combining with the strange alien systems to create something entirely new. "It's like the ship is evolving," Taiwan said, his eyes bright with excitement as he looked at the readings. "The Collective probably thought our systems were too simple to handle their technology. But look, our computers are adapting to it, learning from it." Yoonji nodded. "Humans have always been good at taking new ideas and making them better. Our whole history is full of examples. Now our ship is doing the same thing." On the bridge, Do-hyun made a decision. "All departments, start documenting everything that's changing. We need to understand exactly what's happening to our ship." He turned to Haynul. "Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them the Collective tried to stop us from reaching the council meeting. Tell them they failed." Haynul smiled as she started typing the message. "Should I tell them what's happening to the ship?" Do-hyun shook his head. "Not yet. The Collective probably has spies watching our communications. Let them think their sabotage worked for now. It will make things more interesting when we show up at the council meeting with a ship that's better than anything they have." The next few hours were busy as the crew worked to understand their changing ship. Security teams led by Jeho checked every deck, making sure the transformation wasn't causing any dangers to the crew. Engineers under Yoonji's command studied the new systems, trying to figure out how they worked. What they found amazed them. The quantum drive hadn't just survived. It had become something new, something that could move through space in ways that should have been impossible. The ship's shields now operated in multiple dimensions at once, making them far stronger than before. Even the ship's simple cleaning robots had changed, becoming more efficient and clever. It's like they gave us exactly what we needed, Hae-Nul said as she showed Do-hyun the latest reports. They wanted to prove we weren't ready for advanced technology. Instead, they proved that we're better at handling it than they are. Do-hyun looked out at the stars through the ship's windows. They looked different now. Brighter, clearer, more detailed. The ship's sensors were showing him things about those distant suns that no human ship had ever been able to detect before. "Send a message to all hands," he said finally. Tell them to be proud." The collective thought they could stop humanity's progress. Instead, they just helped us take a giant leap forward. "And soon, we're going to show the whole galaxy what happens when you underestimate human beings." The message went out, and a cheer went up throughout the ship. The crew of the Prometheus had started their journey carrying diplomatic documents. Now they were carrying something much more important, proof that humanity deserved its place among the stars. As the transformed ship continued its journey toward the Galactic Council meeting, Do-hyun couldn't help but smile. The collective had tried to teach humanity a lesson about staying in their place. Instead, they were about to learn a lesson of their own. Never try to hold back a species that had gone from horse-drawn carriages to spaceships in just a few hundred years. The adventure was just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same. 3 days had passed since the purple energy changed the ESS Prometheus. The ship now moved through space in ways that made even experienced space travelers stare in wonder. Chief Engineer Yoon-ji Kang hadn't slept much during these 3 days. She was too excited by what she was learning about the ship's new abilities. "Look at this, Taiwan," she said to her assistant. They were in the main engineering room, which now glowed with a mix of Earth's blue lights and the collective's purple energy. "The quantum drive isn't just moving us through space anymore. It's moving space around us." Taiwan looked up from his workstation. Dark circles under his eyes showed that he hadn't been sleeping much either. "You mean like the old theories about warp bubbles? The ones that said you could move faster than light by bending space itself?" "Exactly." Yoon-ji pointed to a screen showing the space around their ship. "But the collective's technology made it even better. We're not just bending space, we're folding it like paper, making shortcuts through the universe." On the bridge, Captain Do-hyun Park was learning about other changes to his ship. The viewing windows now showed him things no human had ever seen before. He could see the strings of energy that held space together. He could watch as his ship gently pushed them aside, making paths that shouldn't have been possible. "Captain," Lieutenant Hae-Nul Kim called from her station. "Security Chief Choi wants to talk to you. He says it's important." Do-hyun nodded, and soon Jae-ho Choi's face appeared on a screen. The security chief looked serious, as usual, but there was something else in his expression. Excitement, maybe even a little fear. "Captain, we've finished our first full scan of the ship's new systems," Jae-ho said. "What we found?" "Sir, the collective didn't just try to destroy us. They tried to make us destroy ourselves." "What do you mean?" Do-hyun asked. "Their technology was designed to mix with ours in a way that would make our systems fight each other," Jae-ho explained. "It's like they poured oil into water, expecting them to stay separate and cause problems. But instead, they mixed perfectly," Hae-Nul finished. "Like adding cream to coffee." Jae-ho nodded. "Exactly. And now we have something better than either Earth technology or collective technology alone. We have both, working together in ways the collective probably thought were impossible." Down in engineering, Yoon-ji and Taiwan were discovering just how impossible those ways were. The ship's new abilities went far beyond better engines or stronger shields. The Prometheus could now do things that seemed like magic, even to people who worked with advanced technology every day. "Chief," Taiwan called out suddenly, "look at what the computer just did." Yoon-ji walked over to his station. On his screen, one of the ship's maintenance robots was fixing a small crack in a wall. But it wasn't using tools or replacement parts. The robot was somehow telling the wall to fix itself, making the metal flow like water until the crack was gone. The robots learned this from studying the ship's new systems. Ta-1 explained. They saw how the collective's technology could change things at their most basic level, and they figured out how to do it themselves. Yoonji quickly called the bridge to report this discovery. As she explained what they had seen, Do-hyun and Hae-Newell shared a look. If small maintenance robots could learn to use this new technology, what else might be possible? They got their answer sooner than expected. As the Prometheus continued its journey to the Galactic Council meeting, it encountered a problem that would have been deadly for a normal ship. They flew into a cloud of micro-meteors, tiny space rocks moving at incredible speeds. Shields at maximum, Do-hyun ordered, but he needn't have worried. The ship's new shields didn't just block the space rocks. They moved them, creating safe paths for them to flow around the ship like water around a rock in a stream. Amazing, Hae-Newell whispered. The shields are working in ways we didn't even program. They're learning and improving on their own. The ship's artificial intelligence systems had changed too. They were smarter now, but not in the scary way that some people feared. They didn't try to take over or hurt anyone. Instead, they worked better with the human crew, understanding what people needed almost before they asked. It's like the whole ship is alive, Ta-1 said one day, as he watched systems adjust and improve themselves. Not alive like an animal or a person, but alive like a garden. Everything working together, growing and changing to make something better. The crew began to understand just how much better their ship had become when they had to test its new weapons. No one wanted to fight, but space service ships had to be ready to defend themselves. When they ran the first tests, everyone was shocked. The Prometheus' simple defense lasers had become something else entirely. They could now shoot beams that passed through normal shields as if they weren't there. The ship could create barriers made of folded space, trapping enemy weapons in endless loops. It could even teleport small objects, moving them through space without crossing the distance between. The collective wanted to show everyone that humans couldn't handle advanced technology, Jae-ho said during a meeting with the other officers. They thought our systems would break down if they added their technology to ours. But they forgot something important about humans. What's that? Hae-Newell asked. We've spent our whole history taking ideas from different places and making them work together, Jae-ho answered. Every piece of human technology came from combining other ideas in new ways. That's what our ship did. It took their technology and ours and found new ways to use both. Captain Do-hyun listened to all the reports about his ship's new abilities with growing pride. The Prometheus had become more than just Earth's most advanced ship. It had become proof that humanity deserved its place among the galaxy's great civilizations. But he also knew they had to be careful. The collective wouldn't be happy when they found out their plan had failed. They might try to stop the Prometheus from reaching the Galactic Council meeting. That's why Do-hyun ordered the crew to keep testing and learning about their new capabilities. They practiced using the new engines, learning how to fold space in different ways to move faster and hide their position. They tested the new shields, finding out how to protect themselves from weapons that hadn't even been invented yet. The maintenance robots taught them how to fix and improve systems using the collective's own technology. We're not just surviving their sabotage, Yoonji told her engineering team. We're thriving because of it. Every system they tried to break has become stronger. Every weapon they tried to give us has become a tool for peace. As they got closer to their destination, Do-hyun gathered his senior officers for one final meeting. They met in the ship's conference room, which now had walls that could become transparent, letting them see the stars all around them. Soon, we'll reach the Galactic Council, he said. The collective probably thinks we're either destroyed or lost in space. They don't know that we're coming with a ship that's better than anything they have. But remember, we're not going to use this power to hurt anyone. We're going to use it to show everyone a better way. Hae-Newell smiled. A way where different technologies work together instead of fighting each other. Where we share knowledge instead of keeping it secret. Exactly, Do-hyun said. The collective tried to teach us a lesson about staying in our place. Instead, they taught the galaxy a lesson about underestimating humanity. As the meeting ended, the officers returned to their posts. The Prometheus continued its journey through space, its hull glowing with mixed blue and purple light. Inside, humans worked with technology that was both Earth's and alien, both old and new, both simple and advanced. They had survived the sabotage. They had discovered new possibilities. And soon, they would show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or their engines. It was in their ability to take what others meant for harm and turn it into something wonderful. The ESS Prometheus sailed on through the stars, carrying not just its crew and its cargo, but a message for all the galaxy. Never bet against human ingenuity. You might just help create something greater than you ever imagined. News travels fast in space, even when people try to keep secrets. The ESS Prometheus was still 3 weeks away from the Galactic Council meeting when the first rumors started spreading. Other ships began reporting strange sightings, a vessel that seemed to appear and disappear at will, leaving trails of blue and purple light in its wake. Captain Do-hyun Park sat in his office, reading reports from across the galaxy. The stories about his ship had grown bigger with each telling. Some said the Prometheus could now travel between stars in minutes. Others claimed it could heal itself like a living thing. The funny thing was, most of these wild stories were actually true. Captain, Lieutenant Hae-Nul Kim's voice came through the room's speakers. We're receiving a message. It's from the Deltaran ships. The Deltarans were one of the smaller spacefaring races. The collective had kept them from developing better technology for hundreds of years. Now 3 of their ships waited ahead of the Prometheus, hoping to see if the rumors were true. Put them on screen, Do-hyun said. A Deltaran captain appeared on the wall display. She looked a bit like a human but had blue skin and silver eyes. ES Prometheus, she said in careful English, we seek your help. Our people have lived under the collective's rules for too long. We have heard that your ship has changed, that you have found a way to make their technology work with yours. Do-hyun thought carefully before answering. Earth had told him to keep the ship's new abilities secret until they reached the council meeting. But he could see the hope in the Deltaran captain's eyes. Her people had suffered because the collective wouldn't share their knowledge. Permission to come aboard, the Deltaran captain said. We want to learn. Down in engineering, Yoon-ji Kang was already preparing for visitors. She and Taiwan had spent weeks studying how the collective's technology had merged with their own. They understood it now, and more importantly, they knew how to share it safely with others. The trick, Yoon-ji explained to Captain Do-hyun, is not to just copy the collective's technology. That would never work right. Instead, we help other ships learn to combine technologies in their own way, just like we did. Do-hyun made his decision. Deltaran vessels, you are welcome aboard the Prometheus. We will show you what we have learned. The next few days were busy ones. Deltaran engineers worked with Yoon-ji's team, learning how to help their own technology grow and change. Their ships began to glow with new colors, the blue of their own systems mixing with touches of purple from the collective's technology, and other colors that showed the unique way their systems were evolving. Word spread even faster after that. More ships came to find them. The Prometheus had to stop its journey to the council meeting several times to help others. They met ships from the Orcs, whose computers were very advanced, but whose engines were old. They helped the Kree, who had amazing weapons but couldn't build good shields. Each species brought their own technology, their own ideas, and their own ways of solving problems. Look at this, Taiwan said excitedly one day, showing Yoon-ji his computer screen. The Arxians figured out a whole new way to use the combined technology. They're teaching their ships to talk to each other across any distance, instantly. We never even thought of trying that. This was happening everywhere they went. Each species learned from the Prometheus, but they also found new ways to use the combined technology. They weren't just copying what the human ship had done. They were creating new things, making discoveries that excited even the Prometheus crew. Security Chief Jeho Choi kept careful watch over everything. He made sure no one tried to use the new technology for weapons only, or to hurt others. But he didn't have to worry much. Most species were more interested in how the technology could help them explore, build, and communicate. The collective's biggest mistake, Hey Newell said during a quiet moment on the bridge, wasn't trying to sabotage us. It was thinking that keeping technology secret made them stronger. Look how much more everyone discovers when we work together. But not everyone was happy about these changes. The collective had noticed that something was wrong. Their spies reported seeing ships all across the galaxy suddenly developing new abilities. At first, they didn't believe the reports about the Prometheus. They thought their sabotage must have destroyed the human ship. When they finally understood what had happened, the collective was angry. They sent their warships to stop the Prometheus and the ships it had helped. They thought their advanced weapons would easily destroy these experiments in combined technology. They were wrong. The first battle was short. A collective warship appeared near the Prometheus and 3 Deltaran ships. The warship was huge, covered in weapons that could destroy whole fleets. But when it fired, something amazing happened. The Prometheus and the Deltaran ships worked together. Their combined shields didn't just stop the collective's weapons. They caught the energy and changed it, turning it into power they could use. The human ship's new abilities let it move in ways the collective had never seen before, appearing behind their warship, then beside it, then above it. "We don't want to fight you," Do Hyun broadcast to the collective ship. "We want to share with you, just like you accidentally shared with us. Think how much more you could discover if you worked with other species instead of against them." The collective ship retreated, but Do Hyun knew this wasn't the end. More collective ships would come. But now the Prometheus wasn't alone. Everywhere they went, they'd found new allies. Ships from different species learned to work together, combining their technologies in ways that made them all stronger. "It's like watching evolution happen in days instead of millions of years," Yoonji said as she watched ships from 5 different species practice working together. Their technologies were mixing and changing, creating new things that no one species could have invented alone. Even Earth was changing. The messages they received from home told them about new discoveries being made every day. Earth ships were being upgraded with lessons learned from the Prometheus. But they weren't just using the collective's technology. They were using ideas from every species that had joined what people were starting to call the revolution. This wasn't a revolution of weapons and battles, though. It was a revolution of ideas. The collective had tried to keep species separate, making them all depend on collective technology. But now these species were learning that they were stronger together, that combining their knowledge led to amazing new discoveries. "The galaxy is changing," Hey Newell told Do Hyun one day. They were watching a group of ships practice moving through space together, their different technologies working in harmony. And it all started because the collective tried to stop us from reaching a meeting. Do Hyun smiled. They thought they were so much smarter than us. They thought we couldn't handle their technology. But they forgot the most important thing about humans. "What's that?" Hey Newell asked, though she had a feeling she knew what he would say. "We've never let anyone tell us what we can't do," Do Hyun answered. "And now we're teaching the whole galaxy to think the same way." The Prometheus continued its journey to the Galactic Council meeting. But now it wasn't traveling alone. Ships from dozens of species flew with it, each one a testament to what could happen when people shared knowledge instead of hoarding it. Their combined technologies lit up space with beautiful colors, turning the darkness between stars into a celebration of cooperation and discovery. The revolution had begun, and it had started with one simple thing: the collective's belief that humans were too primitive to handle advanced technology. They had tried to teach humanity a lesson. Instead, humanity was teaching the galaxy a better way to live. As the fleet of combined ships moved through space together, Do Hyun thought about how much had changed in just a few weeks. The Prometheus had started its journey carrying diplomatic messages about why Earth deserved to join the Galactic Council. Now it carried something much more important. Proof that the future belonged to those who weren't afraid to share, to change, and to grow together. The day of the Galactic Council meeting finally arrived. The great meeting hall orbited a star at the center of the galaxy. It was a huge ring-shaped space station made of shining metal and crystal. Usually, ships had to wait in line for hours to dock there. But when the ESS Prometheus arrived with its fleet of allied ships, the normal rules didn't seem to matter anymore. Captain Do-hyun Park stood at the front of his bridge, watching as hundreds of ships moved around the station. Each one glowed with its own special mix of colors. The blue of Earth technology, the purple of collective systems, and many other shades that showed how each species had made the technology their own. "It's like a rainbow in space," Lieutenant Hae-Nul Kim said softly. She was right. The ships moved together in beautiful patterns, their combined technologies creating light shows that looked like dancing stars. The collective's representatives were already inside the council hall. They had come early to tell everyone their side of the story. They wanted the council to stop what they called dangerous sharing of advanced technology. But they weren't ready for what happened next. As Do-hyun and his crew walked into the Great Hall, they weren't alone. With them came leaders and engineers from every species that had joined their movement. The Deltarans were there, their blue skin shining. The Arxians brought their best scientists. The Kree sent their most respected teachers. Even some younger members of the collective had come, ones who disagreed with their leaders' old ways of doing things. The council hall was circular, with seats rising up like steps in a giant bowl. At the bottom was a speaking platform where people could address the whole council. The collective's main speaker, a tall figure in complex robes, was already there. He was telling everyone about how humans had stolen collective technology. Captain Park, one of the council leaders, said, "The collective accuses your people of taking their secret knowledge without permission. How do you answer this?" Do-hyun walked to the speaking platform. He could see thousands of beings from hundreds of species watching him. But he wasn't nervous. He knew exactly what to say. "Honorable Council," he began, "the collective tried to destroy my ship. They put their technology into our systems, thinking it would break them. Instead, something wonderful happened. Our technology learned to work with theirs. And then we learned something even more important, that this could work for everyone." He waved his hand, and Chief Engineer Yoon-ji Kang started sharing files with everyone in the hall. The files showed how different species had combined technologies in new ways. They showed discoveries that no one species could have made alone. "The collective believes that advanced technology belongs only to them," Do-hyun continued. "They think other species aren't ready for it. But look around this room. Look at what we've all achieved together in just a few weeks of sharing knowledge." The evidence was hard to ignore. The Deltarans showed how their ships could now heal sick crew members using combined medical technology. The Arxians demonstrated new ways of talking across space that made old communication systems look slow and simple. The Kree explained how sharing technology had helped them clean up pollution on their home world. "This isn't about stealing technology," Hae-Nul added when it was her turn to speak. "It's about growing together. Every species here has contributed something unique. We've all learned from each other." Security Chief Jae-ho Choi presented his own reports. They showed how crime and conflicts had actually decreased in areas where ships worked together. "When people share knowledge freely," he explained, "they have fewer reasons to fight." Taiwan Lee, who had grown from a young engineer into a respected teacher, showed the council how easy it was to help different technologies work together safely. "The collective thought their technology would destroy ours," he said. "But that's not how technology works. It's not about whose system is better. It's about finding new ways to solve problems together." The council members listened to everyone who wanted to speak. They saw demonstrations of new technologies that combined the best ideas from many species. They heard stories about how sharing knowledge had helped solve problems that had existed for hundreds of years. Even some members of the collective started speaking up. Younger ones told stories about how they had always wanted to work with other species but weren't allowed. They talked about new things they had learned from races they once thought were primitive. The collective's main speaker tried to argue against all this. He said it was dangerous to let everyone have advanced technology. But then something happened that no one expected. His own ship sent a message to the council hall. The ship's computer systems had been watching everything that happened. They had seen how other ships learned and grew by working together. Now the collective's own ships were starting to change, wanting to join this new way of doing things. Your own technology is telling you something, Du Hyun said kindly to the collective speaker. It's telling you that trying to keep knowledge locked away doesn't work. Ideas want to be shared. They want to grow and change. The council spent 3 days listening to everyone and thinking about what to do. In the end, their decision was clear. They wouldn't just let Earth join the council. They would create a whole new way of sharing technology between species. They called it the Galaxy Open Technology Agreement, or GOTA for short. Under this new rule, no species could keep technological discoveries completely secret. Everyone had to share their knowledge, but they would get fair payment for their ideas. More importantly, everyone had to work together to make sure new technology was used safely and wisely. This is a big change, one council member said. Are you sure the galaxy is ready for it? Do Hyun looked out at all the ships moving around the council station. They were already working together, already sharing ideas, already making new discoveries. The revolution had started weeks ago. The council was just making it official. Look out there, he said. The galaxy isn't just ready for this change. It's already changing. The collective tried to stop Earth from joining the council. Instead, they helped start something much bigger, a whole new way for species to work together. As the council meeting ended, Du Hyun and his crew returned to the Prometheus. Their ship had changed a lot since the day the collective tried to sabotage it. Its hull now shone with many colors, showing how it had learned from every species they had met. Where do we go now? Hae-Newell asked as they prepared to leave the council station. Do Hyun smiled. Everywhere, he said. We have a whole galaxy of new friends to work with, new things to learn, new discoveries to make. The collective thought they were punishing us by giving us their technology. Instead, they helped us show everyone a better way to live. The Prometheus moved away from the council station, leading a fleet of ships from many different species. Each ship glowed with its own special mix of technologies, lighting up space with countless colors. They weren't just exploring space anymore. They were building a new future, one where species worked together instead of fighting each other. And it had all started because some aliens thought humans were too primitive to handle advanced technology. They had tried to teach humanity a lesson about staying in their place. Instead, humanity had taught the galaxy a lesson about the power of working together. As the ships jumped into faster-than-light travel together, their combined technologies made space itself light up with beautiful colors. The age of keeping secrets was over. The age of discovery together had begun.